Hello, everyone, and welcome to Moonride. This is Dave Johnson. I am Chang, the Man in the Moon today. We're just going to look at some general predictions. If you're wondering about my hat, it's just Australia gets quite cold sometimes. And no, I did not go to Russia. I just went to a garage sale. So let's see what the universe has in store for us. Strange sort of energy right now, isn't there? Just like it feels like something's going to happen, right? Let's see, what's the first thing that we get? All right, this is a really strange image. Trump is kind of out there in the universe and he sort of walks down some stairs. And it's odd. He looks quite friendly. Now, I'll just mention something. I was working with a really good channeler this week. They were pointing out that, as you and I volunteered for our roles in this universe, he volunteered for that one. So, in some sense, he's kind of chosen the role of Judas. I'm not telling anybody to like Trump's actions, but it's really interesting for me to see that, sometimes people choose to be bad guys in this lifetime so that we can all learn. And that hopefully moves me a little past, hating someone. I just thought that was very interesting. Maybe these terrible people have volunteered and are taking on tons of hatred. But I can't help but say, it feels like it's a goodbye. It's like he's coming down the stairs and saying, here's the kingdom. It might also just mean that, we're all free. We're all free to make decisions about our own lives. We're all free to choose love over hate, etc. All of this, in some sense, is about our freedoms. This does not mean you have to accept anything that MAGA has done or Trump has done. It is made for us to respond, right? Okay, how do I respond to this? Somebody does something terrible. How do I respond? I just, I guess I'm not supposed to. I'm not allowed to predict that Trump will die, but this seems like an exit, however he goes. And then he does, he turns and he just walks off. It's sort of like he's walking off into space. So I wonder if this is Spirit's gentle way of saying he won't be around. It's a mess. It's just a mess. Like, I'm looking at the White House, and all these people are just like, "Oh my God, what are we gonna do?" There's just really bad stuff is happening. It's just like we cannot manage this war. It starts, it stops, it starts, it stops. Of course, it never really stops. That's a lie, right? But 3 days ago there was some supposed truce, and now they're bombing each other again. It has nothing to do with reality, and they don't know what to do there because like the person in charge doesn't know what they're doing. It's just a person doing whatever they feel like and whenever they want to and expecting everyone else to clean up the mess. And in some sense, again, I just see this, karma, using that word loosely, of those who chose to work with him. Now they have to clean up the mess. And in some sense, that's about their choices, isn't it? They chose to work with him, they chose to have power, and actually it's turning out to be the reverse. They are going to have difficulty getting any jobs in the future. Would you trust them? And also, they can't really quit, right? So it's enslavement. It's like the tarot card for the devil, right? The rider deck I'm thinking of. They can't leave. Except of course they can. They could choose to leave tomorrow and, become a dance instructor, right? So chaos, chaos, chaos. I'm gonna say, when's the chaos gonna end? And I get the feeling August. I do see Rubio, Mark Rubio. You know, he's like just showing me, he's like, look, I'm an authentic politician, right? Meaning, I'm not a good person, but at least I have the skills to know what's at stake. I am not totally incompetent, if a very unpleasant person, right? So let's see what he's gonna do here. He's drawing a circle. Not exactly a circle, it's a sort of strange shape. Why are you drawing that? Aha, it's like he's trying to round the circle and he keeps getting a parallelogram. He's trying to fix it. And again, we just get karma. Here's a mess now. You have to fix it. You clean it up, man. And everybody's going to hate him because it's going to be a mess. And they're going to blame him. Okay, so he's finally managed to make a circle. It's funny because it's like one of those things where, you know, like the thought bubble you see in a comic book, right? It's not exactly a circle. It has this little blip on it, which means it's like he can't do it himself. I think this means that Iran is going to have a say in how he draws that circle, and it's not going to be bad for Iran. They are smiling. They're like, hey, we won this one. And they took down the United States, right? So talk about a big ego boost and a power boost for those in charge. No other country bested the United States, but they sure did. Vance is a mess. You know, I've seen this before, but Vance just, it's like they skip over Vance. How do they do this, Spirit? How do they skip over Vance? I'm seeing the Senate. The Senate does something like, um, well, I'm seeing the Senate, and I'm seeing a great crowd of people in the Senate, and it's like a crowd that surges forward. And they're like, not this guy. No way. All right, we just did, 8 years of this guy. We are not dealing with another 4 years or 2 years of this dope. They roll their eyes. They're like, look, he is a hillbilly. He's a redneck. Uh, you know, he doesn't have any charisma. There's no reason to support him. Nobody's gonna be sad if we get rid of him. How you guys gonna get rid of him? It's almost like they ask him to leave. Maybe he even is compelled to resign. They said, look, we got the votes to get rid of you. So, um, just leave. Could you please? And again, another person, they signed up for this and now they're humiliated. Their career is pretty much ruined. Everybody hates them. Lots of people getting karma right now. And I hope you'll all understand I'm using karma in the broad Western sense of the word. I don't think we really know what that means, but it's getting some comeuppance. So, again, I hope this helps people. There's a little bit of, schadenfreude, and sure, we don't want to indulge in that, but at the same time, I think it's a good life lesson. You know, you lay down with dogs, this is what happens, they're not gonna all get away with it. Maybe few of them are. What else shows up here? JD Vance actually is quite angry. And he shows up with a knife, like he's doing really destructive things. It might even be that he, to some degree, turns against the party, or even says, no, I'm not resigning. Just go ahead and impeach me. I hope it's a pain. He might attempt that and then change his mind, because this is the one time where, the Republicans in Congress actually need some movement. They're facing their election by August. They're like, look, we gotta do something. You wonder what they've been doing for the past 20 years, but hey, we gotta get, they care about their own elections, their jobs. They're now motivated to actually move with some alacrity, and they're just kind of appalled. It's sort of a change within the whole Republican Party. There's just, they don't really know what to do now. People don't like the forces that they were collecting. I see Netanyahu, he's changing his policies a little. It's sort of like, well, I was thinking of attacking more, but maybe not. He's worried about his numbers at home, so he is worried about his own future. And there will be some kind of hearing within Israel. There'll be some kind of pushback against him. The easiest thing, right, is for them just to blame him. So, oh no, that wasn't us. It was him, which is kind of true. And that way they can walk away with what they feel like is an advantage. There's a real feeling in Israel. It's not a good one. I don't think that most Israeli people are proud of what has happened. Again, I want to point out that there's a difference between the people and the leaders. Most Israeli people seem embarrassed about what happens and, really kind of contrite. They would not agree with Netanyahu. This is very important. We cannot blame a race of people for their leaders. So they're changing their mind about his leadership. And I think that they're going to treat him pretty seriously. It seems like they're courts of law. It seems like is potentially jail time. I keep seeing manacles. So are they going to? There seems to be a condemnation for Netanyahu by the leaders, especially even the religious leaders, seem to have condemned him. And these are the people that he really relies on for his elections. So, in some sense, this backing down might mean there is some time for peace in the Middle East, some time to rebuild. Okay. I'm seeing lots of bugs. It's like these little bugs. And they're going to some places around the world. I'm thinking this is that screwworm again. And that spirit, the question is, people want to know how can they protect themselves. And I'm seeing money, and I'm seeing people put money back in their pockets. Just be careful when you purchase beef. And I would say also avoid beef. There's plenty of other foods to eat. I think it's just, I don't think there's any real danger in this for the average person. I think the danger is for the ranchers, and I think that it just raises the price of beef through the roof. I keep seeing people going, oh my God, I can't spend that amount of money. So I don't know if there's necessarily even any reason to protect yourself against this. There's not that much we can do. It's just a crisis that's going to happen for those people who are, prefer beef, and those people who are raising cattle. But it's insidious. It seems like it's a long-term and bad problem. It doesn't go away. It'll take a long time to get rid of this problem. It will cause a lot of economic problems for some people. I'm seeing a large coin, and it looks like there's economic problems, like a big crash. Well, there's a crash and then an increase. So, Spirit, is this about the stock market? No. Is this about prices? It could be about prices. Spirit, what is this about? I could be unemployment. Yes, it feels like there's a big unemployment problem. And why? Why is there a problem with employment? It seems like there's many factors. One of them is AI. One of them is just these rising costs. People are buying less because they can't afford things. It feels like, again, the brighter side of these economic problems is that younger people who've just graduated from college will kind of have free time, and they'll be really upset that they didn't get the jobs. They'll have to pay their student loans, and they're going to create a political movement of people who are well educated, who are going to need to solve this problem, not just, hey, maybe, but after I have some beer. No, they're gonna have to solve it now, and um, this is our future. Remember, in the next 20 years, new people will be voting. People who have had different experiences than we have, and they won't take things for granted. They will be in a position where they have to be ready and active to change America, change the United States. It seems like they are much more progressive, active. They're not willing to listen to what they hear on TikTok or something. They want things to get done, and they're serious. And keep in mind, too, young people are watching. The most important thing about the way we behave and how we act is that, when I say we, I mean anybody who is moving towards the light, politically or otherwise. People are watching, people are noticing. Young people who perhaps would never say anything and at the moment have no power will one day be the leaders. So it is very important that we respond to injustice with justice, and we respond to the hatred that we are seeing with love and understanding. We can condemn the acts of a person and at the same time say, on some higher plane of the universe, they are there to teach us something. You can hate the actions, but go beyond hate. This is in some way what's being required of us. Now, thanks so much for watching. Don't hesitate to check my website, which is moonride.com/au.